12th house. 12th house. I want you to look at your 12th house. Understand? I want you to look at your 12th house to get perspective of this message. 12th house is very special. It's where you were destined to undo yourself. It's where you were destined to go through cycles of self-sabotage. It's where the subconscious symbolism, the subconscious impulses, fear, shame, guilt, generational curses through the blood, Pisces, the blood, through the blood, okay, that you were meant to purify. You were meant to break those chains of generational curses. Understand, while this specifically does not apply to every person, what does apply to every person outside of the context of generational curses is that it is where you generate universality. It's where you generate universal compassion, empathy, wisdom, understanding, love, acceptance, inclusion, unification, and it's where you comprehend beauty in all things. It's where chaos becomes something that you comprehend, value, and meaning from as part of the will of this universe. Understand that. So with Saturn passing through the 12th house and applying karmic process to the 12th house, as we went through phases of isolation, which was to appropriate our sexual energy, okay? Which this is why you find that a lot of people, ain't been doing a lot of fucking doing this season. You know what I'm saying? People who usually be moving around like that, okay? You were starved out for a reason, for a purpose. So keep that same energy if you're not investing with appropriate persons. You know what I'm saying? I'm just throwing that out there. You know what I mean? Be careful about these sexual habits. We live in a time where it's glorified to be promiscuous, to be out here fornicating, fucking everything moving, and there's this messaging that's going around that reads to us that this should be normal. This should be okay. It's harmless. There's no big deal. No, there is a big deal, because that ain't what we're supposed to be doing, as we represent the higher frequencies of living beings in this earth. You're not just supposed to be out here fucking for sport. You know what I mean? That shit ain't cool, man. It's full of trauma, spiritual conditions, circumstances, and attachments that may be beyond your capacity to manage. You go through things behind that's not healthy. And how much time do we lose in life subjecting ourselves to so much healing of these traumas? And it's all because we couldn't stop fucking. Come on. And what else ends up coming into the picture? Children, exes, and all these other things that we just trail along as chaos, and you become the person with bats flying around you everywhere you going. Come on, man. There's a greater view beyond just sleeping around. We got to detach from and get the fuck out of that culture where people are saying it's okay, it's innocent, it's no, it is a problem. That ain't what the fuck we supposed to be doing. Treat yourself as sacred. Don't violate yourself. You know what I mean? Choose who you're going to share intimacy with. You know what I mean? And maintain that connection. But don't just be spreading yourself all out here. Man. That shit ain't cool. It causes problems. Now listen. 12th house. The sign that you have at the 12th house, impulses, aspects, things of that nature, it's meant to be your concept, personally, of what universal love should look like. It's where it becomes personal to you, the mission that you're going on. It's where you are motivated to go looking for yourself in other people to show up with the medicine. to show up with the cure, to show up with the defense or the advocacy, the way out, the message, the light. But you have to suffer it first. If you don't suffer it first, you don't know compassion through that energy. If you're not undone by it, it can't become personal. The 12th house is the concept of your personality at the first house. It's the concept of your personality at the first house. What is the concept behind the way that you present yourself in this world? What is the motivating factor behind the personality that you have? The aura, the way that you move, the way that you look, your height, your biochemistry, your anatomy. All of that is so that you could deliver effectively the intent of the 12th house in the name of compassion, love, universality. Understand that. So Pallas Athena coming into the 12th house, or Pisces, you want to consider both of these placements, she's going to show you what to do with all that you suffered and learned. She's going to map it out for you. She's going to give you the strategy. She's going to give you the war plan and instructions. All you have to do is tune in. Tune in. Get receptive. We have to get receptive. We have to assume that it's our role. We have to look for opportunity to show up for who we used to be. That's where it's personal for you. What did you suffer at that 12th house? How are you constantly undoing yourself and hitting rock bottom? How are you constantly subjecting yourself to cycles of pain, regret, misery, emotional turmoil, where you couldn't see the contrast between yourself and other assumptions and judgments over you that didn't allow you to have your identity? Where did you have a longing but didn't have the appropriate way to channel that longing productive or constructively? So instead, you subjected it to vices, iniquities, corruption, injuring yourself, traumatizing yourself, burdening yourself. We've come full circle. Saturn has made its way to the last degree, hitting the border of Pisces and Aries. And when Saturn leaves a house, it gives you the authority of that house. When Saturn leaves a house, it entrusts you with the blessings that's supposed to go with that house for that particular season or cycle. Understand this. It gave us competence. It authorized us. When you are authorized, now you can move power appropriately. So Pallas Athena comes timely with this. And you got to remain receptive. Trust your instincts. Trust your memory. Trust your love. Trust your empathy. Especially trust your inner child. Because there's something beautiful that you want to share. There's something beautiful that you want to create. There's something that we need from you to show up with, and it is personal. And you fill it with spiritual conviction. And it's a solution. It's an innovative solution that we all needed. Remain receptive. Don't get caught up in jobs. Don't get caught up in careers to the level that it distracts you from the spiritual intent that we have to remain concentrated on. Don't get tied up in control through relationships, manifesting attachments. Oh, this woman won't do this man won't do that. Why won't he act right? Why won't she act? Get out of the drama. Stay out of the drama. Learn how to work together to manifest and maintain peaceful and harmonious connections. Connections by which you exchange celebration of each other, embrace and love of each other, acknowledgement of each other in the highest degree. Don't fall down to the toxicity. The other person is not to be used as a device to heal. They're not to be used as your hiding place for your toxicity that you refuse to work on. You're not going to be successful in doing so. If you have insecurities, you have inner child issues, and all these other things going on, you are not going to be successful in controlling another person so that you could assume the results of such out of that person's subjugation to you. It won't work because we are past those lessons and phases. Sagittarius, Black Moon, Lilith especially will not allow any of us to dominate, control, dictate, attach to other persons. You will connect, not attach. Know the difference. Women out there, we really need you. We really need you. We can't connect effectively with you if you assume that any expression of truth is an attack on you. Truth is not there to attack you. It's not there to tear you down. It's not there to beat you down, abuse you. Yes, we do owe ethical awareness, sensitivity, and how we deliver. And oh boy, I, of all people, struggle to understand how I will maintain that same capability with the North Node at Gemini. It's my life journey to learn how to do that. I understand what that struggle's about. And behind the scenes on a personal level, I'm very good at that. But here in the 11th house, with Mars conjunct the Sun, I have to stay aware of the fact that truth is already offensive. So, I say that to say this. If you cannot relate with truth, if you can't handle truth, don't expect honesty. Don't expect to know reality. Expect to get caught by surprise. Expect to get ambushed. Expect to remain offended by the disconnect and inconsistency behind what you're experiencing and what it could mean. People lie to people who show themselves to be overbearing when it comes to truth. If I'm constantly showing that I can't handle the truth, I fall apart, I go through emotional spats and tantrums. I get so moody till I bring down dark spirits in the home and all these other things. I fall all apart into a deep depression. People will lie to you in order to avoid co-creating that outcome with you. So you should be careful. I'll tell you a story like I told this story before. I was on a project, with the union on the road traveling. And there was this man, this elder man who was really upset, on a lunch break talking with his family. And he looked so, upset and depressed. And, we were sitting down eating lunch together. So he was, he wanted to vent. And he said, I just can't understand why my family always want to lie to me. Why do my kids lie to me? Why does my wife always lie to me? He was just getting all animated and upset and stuff like that, right? So I shared what I observed. And what I observed, I said to him, I said, I know you very well. I know you for a long time. And you have a very fiery nature. you're easy to anger. It's very easy to upset you and get you bent out of shape. So if your kids or your wife is honest with you or they tell you the truth, do you show them that you can handle the reception of that truth? You know? Because when you hear the truth, you become threatening. If it doesn't agree with your idea or your agenda, if it doesn't agree with what you want to be the truth. And that's why that may be the reason why people lie to you. When we're that person, don't expect to know the truth if you can't handle the truth. Here in the West, we got a serious problem with that. Cancel culture since the Obama era showed us that women simply don't want to hear the truth. Yes, that sounds like a sweeping indictment, and I would be wrong to say that there's not exceptions to that, because certainly there are exceptions. But who are we kidding? Who are we kidding about the fact that here in the West, our women do not want to hear the truth? Even in relationships, you want to hear what you want to hear. You want a fantasy. Tell me sweet nothings. Tell me what I want to hear so I can feel what I want to feel. But what happens if he really is honest with you? What happens if the world is honest with you? What if they give you real, truthful feedback? Will you fall apart and feel like everybody's attacking you? At some point, we have to grow up. We have got to get it together and grow up, and we don't have the time that we think we have. Do you see what's going on in this world? We can't show up for what's going on in the world without women. And women are not present if they are not aligned with truth. For attention, they will sell out. For validation, they will sell out. To have something to consume, they will sell out. For gain, personally, they will sell out. Understand that. This is a time where especially women of society need to get real about how much they are used for missions, efforts, agendas that they are totally obscure to, totally unaware of. Why? Because their desires are before them. They can't see, they can't hear, they can't think, they can't be receptive. Why? They're in trance. Beauty, looks, status, consumption, lights, glitter. Oh, she's so beautiful. Oh, that dress is so nice. You go, girl. Oh, she clocking it, T. No, we can't afford it no more. It's time for women to get real. Don't fall into the Capricorn prostitution expression of the self. Prostitution. Don't fall into the prostitution. Sexual energy, sexual magic, sexual presence, Venus exploitation in exchange for what you could get through Capricorn. You keep selling out the people. You keep selling out the mission. You keep selling out. You keep selling your soul, not caring what power you're putting behind those who are using you. Females are exponents, expanders, power boosters. They are effortless access to magical spells and subjugation over people because they are that influential in their being, and it is effortless. All they have to do is show up and everybody's in a trance. Women lust for women more than men lust for women in this day, and it makes them dumb. This is a problem. And we should be aware of ourselves so we're not being used. Her pedo husband, her pedo brother, and a golden ticket, a doggy biscuit, so I could quiet the noise of not having to face ICE. And all I had to do was sell out. These oligarchs and monarchs are not for any righteous intention, any noble reason. Oh, we're going to go and save Christians from persecution. No, it's always land grabs, military strategic schisms, political leveraging, power moves. And the useful idiot can always be found in the thoughtless female who's spellbound by Venus herself. If it don't apply, let it fly. Clutch your pearls. Do all you gotta do. But who else is gonna be telling you females the truth? Because y'all don't like the truth. It makes you upset. You get offended. You get mad. You take everything personal to the self. And this is a problem. Not only collectively, but in your own household, your own relationships. When you look down memory lane, this has been the case for many of you. You have a problem with aligning with truth, with accepting the truth and dealing with the truth. Think about what you've gone through for the past 2.5 years concerning Pisces, Saturn transit. This is, what are the fruits of all of that suffering? What are the fruits of these spiritual transformations in yourself concerning where you've had escapism? And what fear was behind that escapism? What sense of disempowerment was behind that escapism? Where have you taken your identity and you have just dissolved it into something or someone else that was not aligned with who you most authentically would turn out to be? Where have you entrapped yourself, enslaved yourself, bound yourself, submitted yourself to inappropriate powers because of the lack of this ability to see the line of your own image apart from others? Where have you, time and time again, suffered and you felt like a victim? You felt helpless, you felt powerless, but having to come to the inconvenient realization that it was you, that it was your consent that you continue to give. It was your lack of boundaries with your consent. It was your inability or refusal to practice asserting your boundaries, clarifying your boundaries, setting yourself apart from you and them. Where have you finally realized that you are your own person and they are their own person? This could be someone, or this could be a job, a career, a life path, or whatever else that you have went down that's not yours. But what have you learned from that? What freedom do you now realize? What fear, shame, or guilt have you suppressed into the subconscious? Emotions that you suppressed into the subconscious that totally overtook you. And now you finally realize that that is what was controlling your life. That's what was telling you what to do and what to say, how to do it and how to say it. And you might have become very toxic by it. Fear, shame, and guilt controlling your life. Where are you no longer going to attempt to escape, run away, hide? Where have you realized that nobody else is your savior? that relationships are not hiding places, that lovers are not escapes from your due portion. Where have you realized? Where have you realized the 12th house struggle of what you pretended you didn't desire, what you pretended you didn't want, but really the truth was you didn't feel worthy of it? And because you didn't feel worthy of it, you commanded the soul that it should stand down and suppress itself, begetting shadows. Shadows that operated as juvenile delinquents in the underworld. Spray painting, robberies, doing drugs, violence, wreaking havoc in your life. Because you suppressed them and left them up under the bridge, and you pulled off and walked away because you didn't see a place for them in your life. Why? Because you were afraid of being rejected for it. You were afraid of somebody walking off from you. You were afraid of not being connected from what you thought was giving you relevance. Emotional security. These attachments. Have you learned to become your own person? Have you learned what the real steps are to release the guilty conscience that you walk with and the fear that was provoking you? Did you learn? Did you learn that the route from that was to walk directly toward it and acknowledge it, to name it, to call it out, to address it, to admit it, to surrender to it, and then heal it? This wisdom, this pure essence that was standing in inappropriate forms in your life, it now becomes compassion, it now becomes love, it now becomes universality. Universality. Let me say that again. It now becomes universality. No matter what colors and frequencies came out of that 12th house, it all came from white light. Do we see that? Do we see that refinement was part of that Pisces dissolve? A block of copper, a block of iron, a block of gold, a block of silver has many impurities when you pull it out of the earth. But it takes refinement to separate it from its impurities. It takes refinement to purify it. And perhaps it had a particular form before you melted it in the ladle to be purified. You dissolved that form, and maybe you misunderstood that dissolve as losing things or losing people. But no, you just lost the form of things that were inappropriate. But you still have that essence. As long as you have the claim of your identity, you have everything that you thought you lost. Because what belongs to you is always with you, because it's simply a frequency that finds forms to express itself with you in unison. Some things are on the way back to you in its right form. Some people are on the way back to you in different personas, personalities, identities, and forms and images. But were you patient enough? Pallas Athena now has us to take that essence and form the appropriate substance, the appropriate forms that gets the job done. It used to be a gold bracelet. You melted it down and now it becomes a gold watch. It becomes a necklace. You didn't lose anything. You didn't lose anyone. You lost forms that were not authentic in your life, that were not a match to who you are called to be. You will attract back every form that you had to lose in order to become more authentic. But this time, truth, love, compassion, wisdom, authenticity, and self-acceptance will echo through these persons, these connections, these circumstances, these opportunities, these projects that you align with. Pallas Athena is going to be guiding us with this. Pallas Athena now comes through Pisces and says, I will show you what to do with this essence. I will show you what to do with this substance that Saturn has helped you to dissolve and let go of that was inappropriate. I will show you the appropriate form of it, to make of it through the power and subjugation of the dominion of Aries. The Lord of Pisces is in Aries. So the transfer is natural. It is immediate. But we have to be in tune with ourselves. We have to be aligned with our intention. And that source is always going to be Cancer. I want you to look to your Pisces placement, specifically Pallas Athena at the front door of Pisces. This is where you are about to conceptualize wisdom that channels itself through artful expression, through beauty, that carries the power of conviction, inspiration, compassion, and wisdom directly to the heart. As Jupiter transits Leo, as a South Node transits Leo, this will solidify as what we express. But the conceptualization is first through Pisces. And then the embodiment, the initiatives and construction of such, the creation of such, that carries self-identification as spiritual warriors. As we realize that a spiritual war is waged against us, the people. And we will raise Venus up in Pisces to assist us in going to war against these dark forces. As we have appropriated ourselves with Venus through the number 9 South Node, Virgo, Hermit card process. Understand that. The combination of South Node number 9 Hermit card process, Virgo, along with Scorpio shadow work, 2025, Scorpio stellium. This was a starving off, a redirecting and repurposing of our sexual energy to no longer play the role of self-exploitation and abuse and trauma, but now creativity. Creativity that finds route through Venus in combat. Venus has the power of influence like no other, like none other, like nothing other. Our mother Oshun. Oshun is who Mars fulfills the desires for. Oshun is who Mars longs to please. That is Ogun. It was only Oshun who lured Ogun or Mars out of the wilderness when he retracted into the wilderness. It is Copper or Venus that extracts or calls forth iron that lays dormant in the intestinal tract to come forth and stabilize in the body. So likewise it is Venus with Mars. Mars collectively, this determines where we put our asserted intent and creation, our initiatives for creation, what we strive for, what we work for, according to the Capricorn theory that is renewed. Venus ultimately is what it is seeking to bring fulfillment to. As Venus champions the fifth house, which will be the South Node transit very soon, and Jupiter will bring expansion to that fifth house in Leo very soon. And that's all about Venus. Through exalted Venus, as Pallas Athena gives us strategy and instruction on what to raise as a concept of artful beauty and expression, we are going to raise spirits of illumination, spirits of light, spirits of love, spirits of compassion and healing, spirits of truth. And we will send those spirits out from our artful convictions into the world and society. And we will possess every person with those spirits. And they will fight against the darkness as we show resilience to it. We will champion in a new conviction through this. And you're about to witness it. Now I tell you, when Oshun or Venus is exalted, the youthful women of society is also exalted. But this time it's not in the name of feminism. It's not in the name of toxic liberalism. It's not for selfish aims and means, because that was corrected by the South Node number 9 Virgo process, the Hermit card of isolation, that got us back in touch with the self, that reconnects with Cancer as a conviction of the matriarchal source, which illuminates our conscience again and the intent of the inner child. This reconstitutes the woman upon her true nature and identity, and places her back in her full capacity of power, appropriately and not inappropriately, against society. Women are going to be the main factors in how we win this war. They will use their voices, they will use their wisdom, they will use their beauty. They will use their natural expression from the seat of their femininity, recovered from the number 9 process, redeemed from feminism. And they will bring in a world that none can resist. They will bring in a conviction to the hearts that none can overcome. You're about to witness the power of women in their right mind, in their true identity. You're about to witness it. Women are going to lead this war. They're going to champion this war. Mark my words. And the war is in heaven through Venus. Oshun is going to lead them into battle against all the dark spirits in thought and subconscious programming, in possession of the spirit, in possession of the minds and the hearts, the darkness, and the youth through the 5th house in Leo. Oh, you're going to see something magnificent. Pallas Athena is bringing the marching orders to conceptualization as we speak through Pisces. Here it begins. We're at the dawn of this. And it all will be co-signed, authorized by women. All creators and expressors, all artists of this world, women will finally agree, will finally receive, will finally lend their breast to the appropriate bodies, their womb to the appropriate bodies, their attention and approval to the appropriate bodies who bring this art in. Because who women celebrate lives long. Who women champion lives long. Who women uplift becomes eternal. And that becomes the spiritual warriors, Aries Neptune. She will champion and nurture, support, put her entire being behind the spiritual warriors, and she herself will be a spiritual warrior championing this in. And you're about to see. Listen, as I give a little background. Understand that spirituality with the self is through Cancer. Spirituality with others is through Scorpio. Spirituality with the world is with Pisces. Note this. Note this well. Our assignment is to anchor ourselves in spiritual constitution, matriarchal, which honors the inner child, which does not desert or betray the inner child, which does not contradict the messaging of the conscience. The conscience, which lifts up and raises up righteousness through authenticity and necessity, where our vulnerabilities, our weaknesses, our needs, emotionally and in material, we don't betray it. We don't act, think, or speak against it. It becomes forbidden. It's the foundation on which we erect all things. Cancer, our mother, from whence we come. Anything that we create, anything that we speak, anything that we do, that dishonors the mother, Cancer, we are in error. We are in utter violation. Let this be clarified. Let this be known. Let this be established. No matter what you decide to do, or future plans, strategies, missions, commitments, agreements, remember your duties, your devotion, your commitment, your belonging, and your identity through matriarchal source, Cancer. Let this be clarified in the heart. All that we do now is for her, the Great Mother. Yemaya. Our Great Mother is who we are working for. It's who we are fighting for. It's who we are striving for. It's who we are defending. It's whose security we are restoring. It's who we are learning to honor again. It's the only value now where we are at. Neptune and Jupiter works together. Jupiter takes 12 to 13 years to complete its cycle around the zodiac wheel. All 12 signs and houses, direct motion and retrograde motion. This timing is consistent with the transit per house of Neptune, 11 to 13 years. What this helps us to understand is that Neptune relies on Jupiter to ground us into a concept and reality that reflects the reality of what we are conceiving in the imagination, and the faith, and the belief, and the conviction, the vision that is held. It's in the spirit realm with Neptune. And it has to find a compatible catalyst in the physical realm by which it can be honored, materialized, expressed, established. And that is through the competence, the creativity, the expansive awareness, the beliefs, and conviction as informed through material world experiences. Sagittarius. As agreeable with the conviction of the body in what truth is. Sagittarius. And it finds a way in the house hosted by Jupiter in transit. Understand this. We are starting out this process, this 12 to 13 year cycle in Pisces with Jupiter. Year 2026 will include both Cancer and Leo in the number 1 year. Cancer and Leo, as you understand, Cancer is the inner child's security threshold. Emotional constitution. Emotional demands and expectations. And we know that Leo is the expression of the inner child. We are fortifying these 2 points through Jupiter, who's reading from Pisces at Aries that the identity has a need to anchor itself into these 2 concepts in its physical existence. That is the emotional infrastructure that I build and establish through relationships with myself and others, of my demographic, of my household, of my nation, and my community. It must agree with the concept of Aries Neptune, that of myself as a spiritual warrior this time. Through Leo, it is to align the expressions of the self with the same. The expressions being the lifestyle, the behaviors, what we create, what we agree or disagree with, what we demonstrate and exemplify, what we glorify, what we condemn, what we condone, what we edify, what we decorate, what we beautify, what we echo, what we amplify, what we share, what we give, what we take. It must agree with the concept of Aries Neptune. Neptune is carrying the pure essence of what Saturn dissolved for us in Pisces transit. In order to repurpose it in the reformation of the self, that is wisdom. To reform the self consistent with new wisdom, with clarified wisdom, with clarified conviction and faith, with enhanced compassion, empathy, understanding, and care, with a longing to share love after overcoming the battles en route to truth. We are backed by Pallas Athena. Greet her, Pallas Athena. We are backed by Pallas Athena. Pallas Athena, she brings together the memory and warfare in our life of Mars, of the moon's transit, of Jupiter, and that of Neptune. And the patterns in this, she solidifies as a strategic awareness, a pattern recognition and cycles, frequencies, and how particular laws operate per house, per planet, per circumstance. She is the one who informs your move on the chessboard. She tells you how to make formation to enter the battlefield. This battlefield in Pisces is that we will use art. We will use beauty. We will use our expression. We will use our style. We will use our gifts. This is a magical war. We're going to leverage the power of artful influence and drama in combination with Leo, Jupiter transit, and Leo South Node. That is to discipline our Leo expression for the sake of Pallas Athena Pisces transit. My light belongs to the people. I shine for the purpose. The glory of my gold and the luster of my gold. I will beat it into form of whatever it takes to lift our needs up, to glorify what my mother has sent us to do, to bring attention, admiration, love, joy, and even pleasure to such convictions that we will learn to celebrate it so much that nothing can resist it. I show you evidence and I show you proof of the power of Pisces, Pallas Athena. Look at blues that fought against the disappointments and the crushing and devastating realities of divorce, of poverty, of lack, of life traumas, disappointments, and heartaches. Look at rock and roll during the era of Vietnam that fought back against the spiritual deprivation and crisis, the crushing realities that we would take part in war crimes against Vietnam. The devastating reality that our government will participate in something so inhumane. And we would show our resistance through strategizing, artful resistance that lifted beauty and admiration and trance. Energies that take over the spirit, energies that take over the body, energies that take over the mind, to where you have no choice but to hear. You have no choice but to embody. You have no choice but to be convicted. It's irresistible. I call to mind the Negro hymns in the fields of cotton picking, tobacco picking, that gave them strength and resilience, that passed messages from field to field. A technology through music that kept everyone synchronized in what the plan was, even towards the Underground Railroad. Fortifying the spirit against crushing realities and showing resistance. Even the rumberos of Cuba, who hid Santeria, African spiritual tradition of Yoruba, transformed through Catholicism, blended in music beautifully, to still yet under secret guise of the same slave masters, to champion their religion, to champion their spirituality that was forbidden for them to practice according to Christian black codes. And rumberos made a beautiful sound that carried deep wisdom and healing and conviction, that didn't let them bow, that didn't let them give up, that didn't let them perspire. I call to mind the hip-hop era, the Bronx River, New York City, people of color, namely African Americans, Jamaicans, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, and other islanders, some white folks, Asians. Everybody was there. But in the oppression that they were facing and seeing, the identity crisis by which they were pulling off of Marcus Garvey, they were pulling off of Louis Farrakhan, they were pulling off of Malcolm X, they were pulling off of Noble Drew Ali, they were pulling off of the Zulu Nation and the 5% Nation. All of these teachings of Pan-Africanism, the identity crisis that didn't let them prevail, but they channeled it through beauty, through art, that became a sound drum that spread even throughout the world today. Hip-hop is an artful force that no one can resist, that no one can stop, even as corrupt as it has become through infiltration of Khazarian since NWA. We didn't create it to promote drug dealing and gangsterism, disrespect the women. We created to heal ourselves. We created it to uplift ourselves. We created it to continue to believe that one day we would prevail over the oppression, that we can do it, to stay in the attitude, to stay in the thought, to maintain the focus, to stay united. As Public Enemy said, to fight the power. And we sampled James Brown, the pro-black Pan-Africanist. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Sampling Jay Bird. Samples of all of these artists that reminded us that regardless of what white supremacy had to say about us, we are the ones who determines what we think about us. We are the ones who decide what we have to say about us. And we raise hip hop to make sure that that would be the resistant case. And it fed our souls. It gave us spirit. It gave us attitude. It united us. It healed us. It brought us together. It raised love and pride of identities that were meant to be something for us to be ashamed of. When you are born as an African American person, a Puerto Rican or Dominican person, any of these children of the urban communities of America coming out of Jim Crow, the disenfranchised, the suppressed, the depressed, the oppressed, you are told every day by media, you are told every day by people, you are told every day by the infrastructure of the society that you are nothing. You are not even human. But we decided that we would change that messaging, that we would change the attitude, that we would change the thought process. And it was done through art. Art is powerful. KRS-One empowered us. Eric B. and Rakim empowered us. Brand Nubians empowered us. Tribe Called Quest empowered us. Nas empowered us. Sadat X empowered us. Black Sheep empowered us. Public Enemy empowered us. Diggable Planets empowered us. James Brown empowered us. And it was all through art. Queen Latifah empowered us. It was all done through art. Art has more power than infrastructure. Art has more power than the military. It has more power than corporate execs. Art has more power because it's able to transcend the spirit of the people and charge conviction in the people. And so likewise it can work in the reverse, and oh, it did. Just as we use art in that Pisces, Pallas, Athena sense, it was also used against us. When Khazarians bought into hip-hop, starting with the NWA, paying out big money for us to change the messaging, because they caught on. They caught on. You can listen to a KRS-One album and get knowledge of self, as we called it, knowledge of self, which came from the 5% Nation, the Zulu Nation, Clarence 13X, going all the way back to Elijah Muhammad, going all the way back to Malcolm X, going all the way back to Marcus Garvey and the Zulu Nation. And all of these echoed in Folk Nation and People Nation, which later on became Crips, Bloods, Peace Stone, Disciples and Vice Lords, so on and so forth. But the origin is the same essence, which is why I explained this to you a few videos back. You should have that insight by now. This all worked in unison, and it was working. It was working, and I am a living proof that it was working. Because were it not for the messaging in hip-hop music, especially people like Public Enemy and KRS-One, real teachers through the chains of hip-hop, were it not for such people as J. Rue the Damager, were it not for them, youth, children of the urban cities like myself, New Yorkers like myself, if it wasn't for the Wu-Tang, who are all 5%ers, I may have never taken pride in knowledge of self. Perhaps I never would have had the transfer of spirit and conviction that allowed me to internalize the knowledge that the Nation of Islam was trying to teach me. Perhaps as a youth, I would not have seen it as digestible. Maybe it would have went in the head, but not in the heart. We have to make it to the heart with conviction. And the way to make it to the heart is through art. Because this is not about the head, this is about the heart. We have to change the hearts, and we do so through art. We do so through Pisces, Pallas, Athena. That's how you change the hearts. Its South Node Leo foresees a prophecy of us changing the condition, the vibration, and the messaging of the heart collectively. And so it will be. And as Jupiter transits through Leo, you will see a new art will rise. A new culture will rise. Look to the youth. Look to the youth, because Leo, it honors the youth. It raises the youth. It covers the youth. It delivers for the youth. And it's coming. They are going to bring the healing messaging, the symbols, the signs, the art, the influence, the colors, the language, what we need to feel to change the heart through a revolutionary page in ourself. Hip-hop was revolution. Blues was revolution. Negro hymns was revolution. Black gospel music was revolution. Rumba was revolution. Rock and roll was revolution. And all of it came from black folks. So y'all might want to be careful of who the fuck you listening to out there concerning black Americans. You might want to change your attitude about black Americans, because every single time it comes through black Americans, and it expands from there with other people. And ain't a damn single one of y'all that can deny it, because everything I named came from black folk. Fuck is you talking about? Black America is about to bring down a new culture. And it's going to be through art. It's going to change the world. And they will infiltrate it sooner or later. But it will begin. You listen to Public Enemy right now today, and you will have a speed course on the politics of today. You will have a speed course on cultural resistance today. Because truth is universal and truth is eternal. It doesn't die. You listen to KRS-One's older albums through BDP, the 80s, early 90s, you will get a speed course on black consciousness that transfers universal conviction for all people, not just black people. Because anytime African American males stood up for the people, gave anything for the people, it always had universal compatibility for all people. We have never given anything or created anything that excluded other people, ever. And that's what gives us the access to the hearts of all children. All children of the earth, they love black males. They embrace black males. They are not threatened by black males. They feel a deep connection to black American males. And there is a reason for that. We are universal in our love. We are universal in our embrace. And we transcend color in all that we do. And it's coming down the pipeline. You can't stop art. When intention and dignity rooted in cancer conviction reaches the artist, there's a common intention that's about to solidify. And that common intention is, I realize myself as a spiritual warrior. I have a responsibility to what I see going on. We are all on the same page. And we're going to join hands through the heart. We're going to unify through the hearts. We're going to reach the hearts. We're going to awaken the hearts. The Khazarians are taking over the internet. They're taking over social media. They're policing and practicing cancel culture just like feminists did, just like gay people did during the Obama era. That's right. Y'all women did the same damn thing. You lifted up cancel culture because you didn't want nobody telling you the truth. You didn't want nobody telling you about your damn self. You didn't want nobody correcting you. You didn't want nobody reminding you that you're betraying your inner child. You're betraying your body. You're betraying your womb. You're betraying your image. And you didn't want nobody to tell you about it. So you shamed them and you slapped cancel culture on them. You silenced them. You campaigned for policies to be put in place to silence everybody. And now the tables turn. And Khazarians are doing the same thing to all of us because they don't want to be exposed. But when artists get on the same page and we disenfranchise ourselves and we disconnect and decentralize from the corporate machine that has been driving the celebrities that we know in this modern time, who are very corrupt. They're in the bed with the Khazarians. They're in the bed with these demonic forces. They're in the bed with these evil principalities in high places. That's why they're silent. That's why they're not speaking up. That's why they're still talking about what watch they bought, what girl they just fucked, what car they just bought, what drugs they just did. That's why they're coming out in these weird clothes, dressed like somebody's fucking auntie or some shit. That's why they're fucking weirdos, pouring baby oil on each other and fucking each other in the ass. Their souls have been purchased. But there's a new wave coming. And that new wave is the artist who is not bought out, who is not sold out, and who's not there for their own glory, but as warriors. A beautiful war is about to take place in heaven, in the imagination of the people, through inspiration, through enchantment, possessing the souls and the spirit with messages of wisdom and truth that we all relate to. The numbing and healing effect of art that makes the resistance painless, endurable, possible. That paints the picture of the reality that the matriarchal mother wants us to bring into existence as we join hands through the convictions of Leo and the charging of the heart. Here it comes. This is not just limited to media and artists who pick up a microphone. This is the actors. This is the speakers, the teachers. Even through fashion, this transfers. Style, it transfers. What we choose to glorify and bring light to, what we choose to lift up and redefine as beauty, it's our choice. Venus is exalted in Pisces, and we are going to raise Venus up as a power that fights for us, the people. And Venus will win. Venus will conquer. Venus will give us victory. Our mother Oshun is going to give us victory. The daughter of Yemeya, she is going to lead us to victory because she is the one who translates the moral conviction of her mother into an ethical resonance, a diplomatic ethical resonance of Ma'at that maintains in the heart the weight of the feather against the heart, the sword of justice against injustice, and the 42 convictions in her laws. For all the females out there, I gotta say, regardless if you like me for saying it or not, you have to stop letting yourself be used by the system. You have got to wake up out of that arrested developmental state of yourself, the immaturity, the dizziness. You have got to wake up. You can't keep allowing yourself to be useful idiots because you are too fucking powerful for that. Your power has no match in this earth. You embody pure power. But the tragedy is in not knowing that authority doesn't come with that power. Pluto can only abuse, destroy, and corrupt without Saturn. Understand that. Power without authority can only be destructive. It can only accomplish crimes and injury and regret without Saturn. Venus without Saturn is Satan. It is Luciferic energy that falls only to the dark side because it lacks discipline, accountability, direction, and order. The matriarchal is something that we all can admit is the appropriate source for humanity to express themselves from and to establish anything that is appropriate or civilized or born. But it is patriarchy that must preserve and protect it. And when you separate patriarchy from matriarchal intent, it becomes criminal corporate enterprise. Understand that. With that being clarified, we have to work together. We have to find the point of unity and togetherness and walk away from the gender wars.
We have to look behind us and see what have we learned. Right now, as we speak, Nicki Minaj surfaces again, sucking balls and dick of Trump and what the fuck he got going on with the illusion of Christian intent in Nigeria. And they are using her, as they always do, use women, especially the black woman. They use her sexual influence and power as a luciferic force to distract and beguile the people, as a satanic force to spellbind the people. Because Americans have become very simple-minded. We can't get past sexual impulse. We can't get past being spellbound by curves, titties and ass, nice outfits, pretty faces that are made up with makeup and all kind of fucking wigs and lashes and shit. You females have to stop being so fucking dumb. Oh my God, you're so disrespectful. Oh my God, you're so misogynist. I don't care. Somebody got to tell you like it is. How long does it take to tell a woman it's time to go to the gym, you're getting fat and sloppy? It takes months to tell her that because you got to tell her it in a way where it don't hurt her fucking feelings. Do we have time for that shit? To coddle you with everything that we say, to perfect our communication, to master it so well and perfect it to where it don't hurt your goddamn feelings. You females can get so entitled about how everything has to be delivered to you. It takes a fucking genius, a rocket scientist, a master of words and communication to tell you the simplest shit because your feelings gonna get hurt. Bitch, get over it. Get yourself together. Because we don't have fucking time for it. We can't win without women. We go nowhere without women. We're dead in the water without women. Olodumare, or God, in the beginning, sent out all of Olorisha to the earth to establish the earth, forces of nature. There are 401. The 401st is Oshun, Venus. 400 of them came to the earth to establish the earth. Olodumare said, bring your sister Oshun with you. And they brought her with them. But they ignored her. And they failed. They went back and Olodumare asked them, as they complained about their failure, Olodumare, forgive us, we beg. We went to the earth to establish the earth and we were unsuccessful. We couldn't figure out how to accomplish the mission. And Olodumare asked a simple question, where is your sister Oshun? And they throw it off. Oh yeah, she's over there. But anyway, yeah, we ran into this and we read it. Did you listen to her? Did you consider her? Go back and honor your sister Oshun. They went back and they honored their sister Oshun, and the mission was successful. We can't get through to you females. We can't get through to you women because your entitlement over your feelings is a blockage. The immaturity. When it comes to truth, you don't want nobody saying nothing to you. You don't want to hear shit. It better have a 16 ounces of honey poured over it, sugar, spice, and it better look good. Otherwise, you reject it, you can't take it, you can't receive it. You got a problem with it. You got every fucking thing to say. Clutching your pearls. Enough pearl clutching. You clutch your pearls so much, them bitches is about to fucking break. Get over yourself. Get over the worship of your feelings. Allow yourself with truth so that you can get to the love. Love and freedom is on the other side of truth, and you will not skip steps. Truth is not our friend. It's nobody's friend. It's friend of no one. But it's the only thing that sets us free. And it's the only way we become witness of love. You females have to get it together with your relationship with truth. Get it together. Because you are needed, you are being called. But your indulgence in the ambitious outcomes of feminism is futile. Because guess what? There's no longer access to those things. Your high heels on top of fucking skyscrapers. Your big dick on top of every business and enterprise that you could start and create. And stand over it like a fucking man beating your chest. Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur. I did this and I did that. Bitch, get over that shit. Get yourself together. Because that's not where the fuck we going. The priority right now is spiritual establishment and conviction of the self upon the matriarchal source as it once was in this entire earth. Before the Spanish Inquisition spread itself through doctrine of discovery under the flag of Unum Sanctum, the Pope Bull. But you're not getting the message. You want to be worshipped. You want your feelings to be worshipped. And you want what the fuck you want regardless of consequence, because in the past you know that it has been a collective agreement that you should escape from accountability. And that is a problem. Who the fuck raised y'all bitches? Get it together. Get over your fucking feelings. Pallas Athena wants to use you. Venus wants to lead you from the exalted place of Pisces. But what happens when your dream state is delusional for selfish aims? When your dream state, it glorifies futility and vanity, competition and insecurities, trauma and drama because of promiscuous lifestyles that you spend a whole lifetime trying to heal. I'm 42 years old and my whole life, bitches been screaming from the top of their lungs, oh, I'm healing, I'm on a healing journey. Yes, I'm healing, I'm on a healing. Bitch, how long you gonna take to heal? God damn. It never occurred to you that you might need to close them motherfucking legs. And get serious about yourself. Stop fucking. Stop sucking. Come out of the little girl state of yourself. Outside of corporation, outside of job ambitions, outside of career ambitions. You cannot worship careers. You cannot worship the GOAT of careers and get anywhere with it. You want to enjoy a society that raises a family, that champions women, that has peace and security and fulfillment in it for you. Guess what? You have to participate in that ideal. And the assignment, the role for you is in your nature. If you should want to discover what it means outside of the programming that's been suggested to you, exploiting your nature, stripping you down naked to walk in the streets. When are you gonna get serious? This dizzy bitch, Nicki Minaj, is on stage serenading and slobbing over the dick and balls of these fucking power-hungry drunk liars. And majority of the NPCs that she was sent to keep under that dark spell is females who have nothing to say, but oh, she looks so pretty. Oh, that's a nice dress. Oh my God, she the boss bitch. Oh, she's so beautiful. Oh, she's so smart. Oh, I'm so happy for, oh, I love that for her. Dizzy dumbass bitch. Simple, feeble-minded ass bitch. You can't see this shit. I don't mind to put it on me to be the bad guy. I don't care if everybody looks at me like I'm the one that's the problem. I'm misogynistic. Oh, I can't hear him. Oh, he just hate women. I don't care about those opinions. What I care about is that you listen to this long enough to get the truth in your ear, because the truth is going to do the work, not me. The truth is going to hold you accountable, not me. The truth is going to bring you to court, not me. I'm bringing an affidavit of Sagittarius conviction, and that comes with fire.